Hello, and welcome to a brand new Swindon Town Football Manager Let's Play video. We're on to episode 12, and I hope you found that those screenshots were an exciting glimpse into the future of my channel. It's, structuring things and making things more efficient. If I can build off the same template for every video, then it takes me a lot less time to edit it, and there's more chance of me including an introduction to every video. And that would be my dog in the background. She wants to make an appearance. Hello. Okay, she's gone away now. Okay, so starting today, obviously good news. We've beat Cheltenham by 2-0 in a very dominant display. 65% of the possession, 5 shots on target to 0, and 11 shots to 2 in total. No yellow cards and 1 yellow card to them. Going into the match, there was a few things that I wanted to look at and a few things that I wanted to talk about. This is the first match of the season that I've really looked deep into the kind of tactics and how Cheltenham kind of laid out their team. First of all, I'm just going to go briefly into their formation. I would say that by playing on the wings, it would give me an advantage against a 4-1-2-1-2. As you can see there, a lot of defensive strength in the centre of the park, but not much on the left or the right. That's where I decided to focus my play, and I think I was quite effective down the left with Sido Jumbati has actually changed wing there. When he was playing us, we had what's his name? They've moved things around since the end of this game, which I can kind of understand. We were playing a right back that had about 7 pace, so we were basically dominating them down the left. Now my main concern during the match actually was playing Khalid Mohammed, an ex-Swindon player that I'm always afraid of doing something against us in every match that we ever play. As you can see there, he didn't do anything against us, luckily enough. He only scored a 6.2 rating, so if anything, he had a poor game. But if we look at the 2 games before that, he scored 7.4 and 7.8. Now, the reason being that I think he wasn't so successful in this match was that we closed him down quickly, and if we look at his decisions, we can see that he has very poor decisions, very poor concentration, so he's not going to get into the right positions. If he sees, say, Caddis, for example, running at him and putting pressure on him, he's not going to instinctively run into the right place and beat him, which was quite odd, to be honest, because in his previous game before this, he'd beaten 4 players just by running around them. He was really ineffective in the game against Swindon. Otherwise, other tactics, other things that I looked at. So we have an interesting new feature that I've just been looking at, and I hadn't ever kind of realised this before. He's been placed in the Cheltenham reserves. They must be really angry at him, actually. We're just going to go back to Cheltenham. If we look at their fixtures and we go into their match against Macclesfield, I found this new feature. Now, I'd seen kind of parts of it before and used parts of it before. It's under the analysis section. I don't know how useful some people find this, but I think I'm going to find this fairly useful throughout the season. Obviously, I'm not going to be showing you guys this every episode because it's time consuming and not particularly interesting. But for me, it was important to know where they scored their goals from. So to begin with, we'll just uncheck these. These around the penalty spot is where they scored their goal. Their 4 goals during the match, which is incredibly interesting to me. It basically meant that Macclesfield weren't putting enough pressure on them and just letting them walk through their defence. So what I needed to make sure there was that I would have a strong defence, a defence that wasn't afraid of blocking shots, getting in the way, and a defence with bravery. And luckily enough, I knew I had Oliver Reeser in that position, so it wasn't too much of a concern. Now, in terms of the striker that they had a certain man called, and I will find him here, Jeff Golding. He was in replacement for Daryl Duffy, who was out injured. But if we look at his stats here, you will see that he's got a strength of 12, a jumping of 13, and a heading of 12, which are very decent stats for a striker in Division 2 or League 2 or whatever you want to call it. And as you can see around the pitch, he won 7 of the 7 headers that he was involved in. Luckily enough, in the Macclesfield game, he wasn't really involved much in the box. He didn't win any in the box, but I was concerned that that would be a problem during the Swindon match. He would get through and win quite a few headers. In the end, we contained him fairly well, so that wasn't too much of a problem, especially with the amount of possession that we had. If we go back into the match stats on this, You can see there that Cheltenham were a bit more dominant than Macclesfield. Obviously, being the home team, you would expect them to. But 18 shots to 10, that is a crazy amount of shots. Looking at our game when they had however many they had. How many did they have? Let's find it again. I know they had a low amount. I think it was like 6 shots or something like that. They had a much lower shot count than... yeah, so as you can see, they only had 2 shots throughout the entire game. That is brilliant news, and that speaks volumes about my defence. My only concern coming out of this game is the fitness of my squad now. It's really testing on my centre midfielders. As you can see, Corey Gregory is tired. He has a condition of 87%, even though it's quite a few days after the game now. I've kind of skipped forward. We do need to bring Alan McCormack back into centre midfield and Jonathan Smith, just to give them a run out and just to give Gregory his fitness back. Again, I could play him down the right, but I think he is going to be my sort of second man to Simon Ferry now, actually, in the centre of the park. He's doing a good job and he's partnering well with Scott Wagstaff. He's being more offensive whilst Wagstaff's being more defensive, so that helps out. You know, it's a good partnership running there. One bit of bad news that I do want to give you guys in this episode: I did put in an offer for Rory Donnelly. As I said in the last video, Swansea accepted, but Rory Donnelly himself did not accept the contract, so he's not going to be joining our team this season. I don't know exactly why. I think he would do really well in this division, and I can't imagine any other teams being in for him at this point. We might try again maybe at Christmas time or something like that, but we'll have to find out and see where he goes or what he does. I've put in a stupid offer for David Bentley. As you can see here in a second, he is on $45,000 per week. Because I've got this partnership, as Tottenham are my feeder club or my parent club. It's really odd, because parent is the club that you get players from, but feeder would also suggest that they're feeding you players, whereas it's you feed your feeder club. Okay, let's get beyond that. If we can get this guy in, obviously that would be a godsend. I would be replacing Scott Wagstaff with him, obviously, but I mean, those are just insane stats. So for a League 2 player, I can't imagine him joining our club, however. But we wouldn't have to pay any of that $45,000 per week, so I think that would be brilliant if we could bring him in. Other information that I wanted to share to you guys: the B2R, I always read this wrong, I've written it down here, the B2R, has started a new Football Manager series with Hearts. He's taking on the SPL, he's going for the gold, or whatever you want to call it, the championship. He's removed Rangers from the SPL because they're in financial difficulty, concerns at the moment of them being in Division 3 for the next season, as they've been bought out, I think, but they have classed themselves as a new club. I haven't really looked too much into it. So they've applied to join the Scottish Football Association, so they'll be starting from Division 3, obviously. So yeah, there's no Rangers in his division, but there is a Celtic, so there is one big team to beat. But beyond that, I think he stands a fairly good chance. He's had to quickly finish his West Brom series, as the laptop that he was playing on was broken, something like that. And there was a plane going by. RAF Fairford was on a couple of days ago. Me living in Wiltshire, Swindon to be precise, we have quite a few planes travelling over when there's the Royal Air Tattoo, or whatever they call it. They sometimes do the Red Arrows, those ones, yeah. They sometimes do displays around Swindon, so we get to see that sometimes completely for free. So yeah, it's that's why you should live in Swindon. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for the support you've given me so far. I've just been looking through my old videos at the analytics, and I've seen that I've got viewers from Germany, Malaysia, Spain, Brazil, Canada, Sweden, Norway, Ireland, Israel and India. Now imagine 20 years ago someone saying, hey, I want to set up my own miniature TV channel and I'm going to get viewers in India. That would just be insane. That is the beauty of the internet, and I could go on about this for days. There's just so much brilliant about it that I'm going to finish there. Thank you for watching this video. Much appreciated all of your support. If you could drop me a like, a subscription, a favourite, any of that, you know, it really helps a small channel out. So thank you for watching this video.